Kathleen, can we get a roll call?
Commissioner Gray,
Here.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Fernandez, Commissioner Quigley, Chair Dickerson.
Here. And we move on to the approval of the Planning Commission minutes for August 19th. Has everyone had a chance to read those minutes, and are there any changes anybody wants to make? And if not, do we hear a motion?
You gonna do it?
Okay. Might want to turn your speaker on
He's
there.
not on.
That's all right. Why don't you go ahead and restate that?
Plug him in that.
Really?
You got it.
I make the motion to approve the planning commission minutes of August 19th, 2015.
There we go.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. Public comment period. Each member of the audience may address the commission on any subject within the commission's business. Each member of the audience and each subject is limited to the discussion of 3 minutes or is otherwise directed by the chair. These are for items not on the agenda. Do we have any public that wishes to make any comments? Now limited to 3, but seeing none, we move on. Consent calendar. The consent calendar is approved with one motion. These items are read only on request by commission members. Should anyone, including members of the public, wish to discuss or disapprove any item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion and considered as a separate item. I've had a notice from one of the commissioners, Mr. Andrade, that he'd like to pull number 2 and vote on that separately. He's going to be abstaining. So we need a motion for them separately. Do I hear a motion for number 1 of the consent calendar?
I will go ahead and move that we adopt the consent calendar, which includes only item number 1, the Platino permit amendment at the Industrial Parkway address, and that we approve that item.
Are we leaving number 2 out?
We're going to vote on that separately because he's going to abstain.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Now we'll need a motion for consent item number 2. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Enos Ranchos McCardle permit and amendment at the northwest corner of Veteravia Road and College Drive.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Abstentions?
I abstain.
Motion carries. Moving on to the public hearing, we go to item number 3, which is the text amendments to Chapter 12 through 34 signs of the zoning ordinance. Can we get a staff presentation?
Yes, this is a staff-initiated amendment to the sign ordinance in order to allow more flexibility in the calculation of sign area. Currently, the rules say that the total sign area you can have on your site is dependent on your buildings, how wide the building is that fronts the street. In the past, the ordinance allowed the area to be based on how wide your parcel was. Now, in most cases, the wider parcel is going to allow more area than just the building. But what we have discovered over time is that the change in rules with the allowance of older buildings to keep the signage that they had before has basically resulted in an uneven playing field, and the proposal is to allow sign area to be based either on property width or the building frontage, whichever is greater. Currently, all signs have to go through a discretionary review process already. So for the few cases where the exact calculation may result in a sign that doesn't fit the size of or is out of character or scale with the building, we have the ability to negotiate and try to get that area down. So that's the primary change. We ran this by the local sign companies earlier this year and got a positive response. We then came back and showed the draft language to the commission at a study session in June. There's also other changes that clarified what the review process is and other, what we think are minor changes to the ordinance that are either clarifications or corrections. We are recommending that the commission make a recommendation to council to approve the text amendment based on the attachment. And I'm available for any questions.
Commissioners have any questions, or what questions commissioners have?
No?
I have a question. I don't recall in our staff session we discussed sandwich board signs, and I noticed, I think in the report it said that due to sunsetting that it's being dropped. And I see the verbiage being taken out on 24-34.8 or -8. And so the question I have is, what rules do sandwich board signs then live by? Or are we just all of a sudden going to see them popping up willy-nilly all over the city?
The sandwich board is listed now because of the fact that the sunset period ended. It's now listed as a prohibited sign. So you would not be able to do that.
Okay.
There was a short period where they were going to be allowed in downtown for like a one-year period, and that ended, and we just want to clarify it.
And where is that? Do you know?
So if you go to 12-34, 1234.11, at the very bottom of the page, you'll see sandwich board signs under the prohibited sign list.
Okay. First question I have. Are there any further questions? Do we have any written communication or public comments on signage? No? Okay. Then bringing it back to the commission, we will close this to the public, and are there any further questions or motions? I guess it's a, do you have anything from the commission?
What is a balloon sign? Those are not precluded. Same area, prohibited sign. Or is it just balloons?
Is that on the same page you said?
We have page 1234.11 and blimps.
So in the definitions, it calls a balloon or blimp any type of sign that rises and floats and is filled with hot air or gas. That's how it's defined on the first page of the ordinance. And in general, the ordinance prohibits signs that move in any nature because it could be a distraction and such. So balloon is one type.
Okay.
So that would also include those large ones that are filled with air from below and flap around.
Like
Yes, I mean, on the definition of a balloon or blimp, it doesn't say that it does float in the air. It said that it would float. So it's defined as an airtight bag, possibly rigid or semi-rigid, which will rise and float above the earth when filled with hot air or gas.
But you know the ones I'm talking about. There's ones that have like an air thing below it, and they go up usually in 12 feet and kind of
And just wave?
wave
Yeah.
around and stuff.
That may fall under the definition of a bow feather sign somewhat. Okay, I'm sorry, it would not. I was corrected.
Or it may not.
Like those. So would those be precluded, or those are allowed?
Well, any sign that moves is under the list of prohibited signs.
There's a lot of movement on that. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing just floats in the air.
I see.
So as it would be considered a banner kind of a flag?
Well, it would fall on the second to last page on 1234.11, prohibited signs, subsection F, any sign that flashes, blinks, moves, changes color, et cetera, et cetera. So those signs that have air blowing up and it waves, that moves, and therefore it wouldn't be allowed.
But we don't have a picture of those doing that, right? Is that something we want to include? Picture of one, I think there's one, wasn't there one over across the freeway and?
Often those type of signs are put up right at the end of the day on a Friday and taken down right before Monday, because that's when code compliance moves in.
And no moving neon signs where the neon is pointing?
The type of neon that would, light that would move, would fall under the definition of a prohibited sign.
It would?
It would. I don't know how strongly that's enforced, because we do have some of those.
Probably a complaint issue type of thing that's not enforced unless somebody complains about it. Is that possible true?
And for the most part,
Looking at today's rate.
I didn't realize I was being asked a question. No, I was thinking of a different issue that we're not talking about. Apologize for that. What was the question?
Peter was suggesting that those moving neon signs probably are not regularly enforced, and so I was just questioning, so probably enforcement is more along the lines of if they're complaining, somebody complains and then somebody goes out.
Historically, yeah, we wouldn't go enforcing a sign that moved if no one was complaining about it.
Any further questions? No? Needs a resolution. The next resolution is 2663. Do I have somebody who wants to make a motion for that resolution?
It's your turn.
All right. I will move that we, by way of resolution, approve resolution number 2663, recommending to the City Council that the ordinance amending the municipal code, Chapter 12-34, relating to signs be approved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Can I get a...
Commissioner Andrade,
Aye.
Commissioner Quigley,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown,
Aye.
Chair Dickerson.
Aye. Carries. Thank you very much. Moving on to other business. Have a report on city council action.
yes, the council did not have a meeting on the 1st, so there's nothing to report at this time.
Okay. How about oral reports from planning commissioners?
But if they had a meeting, what would have you reported about?
What would it have been?
Just,
I'm not sure it would have been anything of interest.
okay. Just testing your powers of prognostication.
Or Svengali, yeah.
They-
Any oral reports from planning commissioners and staff? No? All right. With that, then I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Super.